Hello, folks. Welcome to the performance meeting for March 30th, 2023. Mark is out next couple weeks, so I'll be running these. I think we're still waiting for folks to trickle in here, but we can get started by looking at some of the pull request status, and if there are any discussion topics, please feel free to raise them. There's one interesting new PR this week, which was adding a zero API to RGW. Casey, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. We talked about it a couple weeks ago here, but the idea is just to add a REST API that doesn't have any backend store, so that we can run benchmarks essentially that isolate the HTTP front end part itself. Interesting for optimizing the Beast front end, but also for comparing work against the HTTP3 front end.
Nice. Have you found any interesting things with the profiling so far? Or?
I don't think so, no. Mark Kogan did some kind of very initial HS bench runs just to compare this API against the Rados backing with NVMe, kind of the fastest that he could get from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows a pretty good improvement.
Excellent.
But yeah, in the Beast front end, I think there's some kind of known overhead, especially from SSL connections. So being able to dig into that specifically, I think will be good.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting, especially with the like higher load or more clients. If you see any kind of bottlenecks with Beast itself. Very cool.
Yeah, so this is a tool. I think we'll just need to put some thought into exactly what we want to try to measure with it and organize some projects around it.
Sure, sure. Okay. In terms of other updated PRs, we have more progress on the booster accumulation idea that Mark has proposed. This is like Igor was reviewing it and Mark was trying to update it a bit more. Mark's not here this next couple weeks, so we'll probably discuss it more when he's back. But the idea is essentially to try to batch up more key value store updates and accumulate them for potentially longer intervals based on different configurations to try to increase the throughput overall. But it looks like Mark hasn't had a chance to test this on HDDs yet, so I guess the next step there. The next one is properly overriding the RocksDB writable file allocate method, which addresses a fragmentation issue with BlueFS. Like this is all approved now and just needs some QA. Now we have a new Crimson Performance Suite. I guess might have been discussed in the past weeks, but it's now looking quite good. It's passing consistently, and we can start collecting data and seeing how Crimson is doing over time. And finally, we have the very large PR around updating mClock recovery and backfill costs. There were some issues seen where backfill and recovery was going much slower than expected. This ended up being, especially with small object workloads, this ended up being due to the way that MClock was treating the cost of recovering a given object. So there's a few changes here around tuning the cost for a given PG based on the average size of objects in that PG. So that if a PG is mostly used for like RVD objects, they're all 4 megabytes, it's going to be pretty much the same. But for RGW or SFFS, the object size can vary quite a bit between different PGs and different pools. So when we're scheduling the recovery, taking that into account, since we don't know exactly which object we're recovering at that point of scheduling, we have to kind of rely on the average there. And then further updating the recovery costs for different kinds of operations so that like within recovery we're only accounting for things once, not multiple times. That's what the pull up versus push up reply changes are for. I believe there's some other changes here to make the configuration overall a bit simpler and more sensible. But some of this is all still under review. Radek and Sam are taking a look at the review, and still more updates from Sweetheart there. So this will get finalized in the next few weeks. That's it for the PRs. General announcement, I guess we're switching this meeting to Jitsi and all the stuff meetings to Jitsi in general starting next week, since Red Hat is phasing out Blue Jeans. And so look at the calendar invite for the updated links for this one. Should be pretty simple to join. We've been using it for the Ceph leadership team meetings for about over a year now, and it's been no problem. It's just slightly more work to record. That was all we had on the agenda so far. Are there any topics for discussion folks would like to bring up? Any interesting papers or things that people have read or people might want to look at? I think the FAST conference was this year was just recently finished last month, and I haven't taken a look through the papers there yet. So I might take a look through those and see if there's any interesting ones to read for the future meetings here. But if there's something else, we can make this a short one.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Deepika.
Hey, sorry, I think I was not able to unmute myself. Uh, Sorry, I think I had a meeting due like Ceph research weekly, but I was not able to, uh, work on it uh, and like sync upon those things. So I thought like maybe we'll come now and talk about it. How's things going on in Ceph in general as well, familiar with them as well. So I think Mark added some ideas to the Etherpad tech performance.
Mhm.
I think also there's one more meeting that's being scheduled now for Blue Store itself. I'm not sure about things are there. So like, uh, is uh, is this meeting being used primarily to discuss all the PRs and for Blue Store we have that meeting separately?
Yeah. I guess I haven't been going to the Blue Star meeting since it's a bit early for me. But essentially, it's more around the Blue Star specific improvements and design from the Blue
Mm-hmm.
Star developers.
Okay. Oh, nice. I think I'm just trying to search the Etherpad Mark shared. Uh, yeah, I'll share a mail with you, but Ceph performance basically that I'm able to access it at the moment.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll sync up with you on the mail regarding that, and yeah, we'll get going on that as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mhm. That's yeah, I wanted to update.
Okay, cool. I think that's it for today then. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you in Jitsi next week.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem.